I'm Wolf Blitzer at the CNN Election Center. You're in the Situation Room. They're running on fumes and adrenaline right now. The presidential candidates scrambling for last-minute votes and a second win. On this election eve, the finish line is in sight and nothing less than the direction of America's future now at stake. John McCain is dashing across 7 states, beginning in crucial Florida and including Pennsylvania, now considered a must-win for Senator McCain. He ends the day in his home state of Arizona. Sarah Palin swings through Ohio and 4 other states. She closes with 2 stops in Nevada, a red state where Barack Obama has the advantage in the polls. Obama has a less intense schedule with stops in Florida, North Carolina, and finally Virginia, a red state he's hoping to turn blue. He'll wind up back home in Chicago. Joe Biden zips through 3 battleground states, Missouri, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. We're standing by to hear from all 4 candidates live. They'll all be coming up right here in the Situation Room. Here's a taste of their closing arguments earlier today.
In these last 36 hours, we can't afford to slow down or sit back or let up. Not 1 minute, not 1 hour, not 1 second, not any time in the next 36 hours. Not now. Not when there's so much at stake. We've got to win Florida and win this election.
Just 1 day left. Until we take America in a new direction, we need to win in Pennsylvania tomorrow. With your help, we will win. Volunteer, knock on doors, get your neighbors to the polls. I need your vote.
Let's begin with our own Ed Henry on McCain's election eve marathon. Ed?
Wolf, John McCain woke up to some good news here in Florida. He's down just 2 points in CNN's latest poll of polls, but even his aides admit that cobbling together the 270 electoral votes to win will be an uphill battle.
Our next president of the United States, Mr. Senator John McCain.
John McCain kicking off a grueling final full day on the trail in Florida, where he feels a surge.
You know, my friend, the pundits may not know it, and the Democrats may not know it, but the Mac is back.
But McCain drew only about 1,000 people in Tampa, near the same spot where President Bush got 15,000 during his 2004 re-election. McCain and running mate Sarah Palin on Monday are hitting a total of at least 12 contested states in a mad dash across the country. The problem is the ticket is spending most of its time defending states carried by President Bush in 2004, such as Virginia, where Democrats are bullish about winning for the first time in 44 years.
I'm feeling more and more confident that we will turn Virginia blue.
So the most critical piece of McCain's final strategy is to offset potential losses in Republican states by flipping a monster Democratic battleground, Pennsylvania, and its 21 electoral votes. That's why he campaigned there Saturday and Sunday, where he's charging Barack Obama's tax policies will make the economy worse.
Senator Obama is running to spread the wealth. I'm running to create more wealth.
John McCain will end this long day in Arizona at a midnight rally. Originally supposed to be a homecoming, but it could now be a get-out-the-vote rally. Polls have even tightened in his home state. And on Election Day, McCain is going to hit 2 more battlegrounds, Colorado and New Mexico, a sign that McCain believes this race will go down to the wire. Wolf?
Ed Henry, thank you. Well, while Barack Obama is trying to close the deal with voters across the country, preparations underway already in Chicago for his big election night gathering in Grant Park. Jessica Yellen's already there. Jessica, talk a little bit about Obama's strategy in these final 24 hours.
Wolf, on his last full day of campaigning, Barack Obama is showing confidence in his campaign strategy that they can win by expanding the map. As you say, he is in red states, places that voted for Bush in 2004, sending Michelle and Joe Biden also to places where Democrats have not won for some time. Their message is twofold. One, to undecided voters, they are promising that under an Obama presidency, he would do more to help the middle class fix their economic conditions. The second message is the sound you played leading into the show, Barack Obama urging supporters not to get complacent, not to feel comfortable with the polls. Everyone, he's saying, has to get out and vote. Now, Barack Obama, after making this full tour, is going to come back to Chicago tonight, and folks here are already making heavy preparations for what the mayor here has predicted could be as many as 1 million people turning out to see Barack Obama's event tomorrow night. Win or lose, they think it will be huge, so all police and firefighters are on duty tomorrow. It is a security nightmare, potentially. Now, I can finally tell you, Wolf, that Barack Obama is going to be playing basketball tomorrow, something he did during every voting day during the primaries, and he'll also have an informal stop in Indiana, in the Indianapolis area. Again, a red state he's hoping to turn blue this year. Wolf.
Jessica, thanks. And speaking of Indianapolis, Senator McCain is speaking there right now. I want to listen in briefly, hear what he's saying right now.
Clean coal technology, my friends. You know, we found out yesterday what Senator Obama really thinks about coal. In a new video talking about his policies on coal, he told, guess what, a San Francisco newspaper, I quote, here's a quote from Senator Obama. If somebody wants to build a coal-powered plant, they can. It's just that it will bankrupt them. I'm not making that up. I'm not making that up. We all know we need to control emissions, but I'm not going to let our coal industry go bankrupt, my friends. There's too many millions, thousands and thousands of jobs. I'm not going to let coal workers lose their jobs, and I'm not going to let energy prices increase even more for our families. When I'm elected president, we'll lower the cost of energy and create millions of jobs.
All right, let's go from Indianapolis to Dubuque, Iowa. The governor, Sarah Palin, she's speaking right now. Let's listen in briefly, hear what she's saying. Unfortunately, we don't have that, but we'll get to Dubuque, Iowa shortly. By the way, if you think the candidates are keeping up a frantic pace in the closing hours of this campaign, wait until you see what's in store right here on CNN. Our live election coverage continues all night tonight and all day tomorrow and not only tomorrow, but tomorrow night and Wednesday until the votes are all counted. I think we've cleared up that technical problem for Dubuque, Iowa. Let's listen in to Governor Palin.
Iowa, do we have your commitment, and can we count on you tomorrow? Now, John and I, too, we're going to set this country firmly on a path towards energy independence. And we're going to develop new energy sources, and we're going to tap safely into what we've already got. You know, we've got billions of barrels of oil. We have hundreds of trillions of cubic feet of clean natural gas, and we have coal, and we're going to develop clean coal technology. Here again, I do not think that our opponents understand this intrinsic link that we have between national security and economic prosperity and energy. It's like they've been missing this link all along, and they don't want to talk a whole lot about energy independence. Well, John McCain and I understand this is a national security issue and an economic issue also. Presently, now we've had 30 years of failed energy policy in the U.S. We're going to end that failed policy, implement a policy that will allow the energy security we need. Presently, we're circulating hundreds of billions of your U.S. dollars every year into foreign countries, asking them to ramp up production for us. We've sent our Energy Secretary Bodman over to the Saudis. We've sent our own president over to the Saudis, asking them to ramp up production so we can purchase from them. Some of these hundreds of billions of dollars end up in the hands of volatile foreign regimes that do not like America, and they use energy as a weapon. Now,
all right, she's getting back into her stump speech on this, the final day of campaigning. We'll check back with her check back with Senator McCain. We're also standing by to hear from Senators Biden and Obama as well. They're all getting ready for rallies out there over the next couple hours or so. In the meantime, let's check in with Jack Cafferty. He's got the Cafferty file. Jack.
Well, what are your plans for Wednesday? Not tomorrow, Wednesday. 12-step program, maybe a little one-on-one counseling. You know you're probably going to need some help. We all will. There won't be any more election to fixate on. But what a ride it's been, huh? Historic, interesting, historic because of Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton. And just when it began to get a little boring, Sarah Palin rode out of Alaska, energized the whole thing all over again, kind of gave it a big B-12 shot right in the whatchamacallit. Interesting because we have ourselves here quite a mess. The economy, the wars, blah, blah, blah. You know it all by now. And those problems awakened the American electorate like never before. But Wednesday, the party's over. Except it's not really over. For whoever leads us, it's just beginning. And my guess is that we will all, at some point, be called upon to become part of the solution. But what are we going to do in the meantime? I know for a fact that Wolf's going to need help with this. Here's the question. How are you going to deal with election withdrawal? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file. You can post a comment on my blog. Wolf.
There'll be a new president of the United States, a president-elect. It'll be exciting, right?
Well, we'll see.
We'll deal with that.
Yeah. I'm tired of this now. I'm ready for it to be over.
I'm not yet. All right, Jack, thank you. There's been a radical transformation in the endgame of the presidential campaign. The reason? Unprecedented early voting. We're going to take you inside the ground war in one critical battleground. Plus, bring a chair and a snack. The long wait out there to cast ballots in Ohio, what it could mean tomorrow. And they're some of Pennsylvania's biggest political stars, but they're working small crowds in tiny towns in these closing hours of the campaign. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
When Hurricane Katrina came through, we lost everything. We lost our business. Our Trusted Choice insurance agent took care of us in the worst possible time in anybody's lives. The good times are rolling again. Had it not been for our Trusted Choice agent, I promise you we would not be here today.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents offer coverage from a choice of companies and pledge to be there for you when disaster strikes your home or business.
To find a Trusted Choice agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com.
Bolt, speak. Bolt is the biggest star on television. Action. And he thinks all his powers are real, but he's about to get a reality check.
You're part of a TV show.
That's preposterous.
None of your powers are real.
The irony. Walt Disney Pictures presents.
Bolt is lost. He can be anywhere by now.
There's a guard. I'll snap his neck.
Bolt.
I know this dog.
I gotta remember, it's gonna kill me.
No, I don't know. I thought I knew.
Rated PG, November 21st.
People talk about the United States being the sole superpower. In fact, that's a product of decisions. In some cases, decisions that were made 20 years ago by President Reagan.
I will cut investments in unproven missile defense systems. I will slow our development of future combat systems.
The consequences of 4 years of incompetent government in the military and national security arena could be disastrous.
I will not develop new nuclear weapons. You know where I stand.
When we see candidates that unmistakably convey a determination neither to use military power nor to ensure that they have it at their disposal should it be necessary, they are conveying to our enemies weakness, and weakness invites aggression.
It will not be 6 months before the world tests Barack Obama. I guarantee you it's going to happen.
Let Freedom Ring, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Heard you coming back to town, hoping that you'll come around and see me. Thinking about
what if there was a way to move goods efficiently using less fuel? Norfolk Southern, the future of transportation.
Its official name is the Multi-Touch Collaboration Wall, but in John King's hands, the only thing to call it is magic. Go inside the results on election night like never before, with the best political team, hands down.
So beware the next time there's a knock at your door. If you live in a key battleground state, it could be supporters for either Barack Obama or John McCain. With only a few hours left before Election Day, campaign workers hope to leave no doorknobs unturned. Colorado, certainly one of those states they're canvassing, where polls show Barack Obama leading slightly. Our battleground reporter in Colorado is Dan Simon. He's in Denver. Dan, these supporters, they're out there working pretty hard right now, aren't they?
Well, indeed they are, Wolf, and we should point out that about half of Colorado voters have already cast their ballots. That means targeting those who have yet to vote. Well, it takes on a whole new sense of urgency and purpose. Take a look.
I wanted to know if you have voted yet.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
The foot soldiers of the campaigns. A few last-minute instructions.
If they say that I'm going to vote for McCain, have a very nice afternoon, and off you go.
Both sides know.
Hi, we're with the McCain campaign.
It's go time.
They're either going to be blistering their toes or blistering their fingers, reaching out to every last potential voter here in the state of Colorado.
But their path through these Denver neighborhoods is far from random. Before they even approach the doors, they know who has already voted.
You know, the information ultimately comes from the county clerks throughout the state of Colorado.
Senator Ken Salazar has become one of the Obama campaign's most important advisors in Colorado. He's a Democrat and figured out how to win in a traditionally red state. He says the Obama campaign has made effective use of something he learned long ago by using information provided by the counties to determine whose votes may still be up for grabs.
We are tracking who is voting on a daily basis so that we can go out after those voters who have not yet voted.
Obama volunteers are armed with those names. If there's been prior contact, the name also comes with a number, 1 through 5. A 1 means they're committed to Obama. A 5 means they're pro-McCain. A 3, well, they're in the middle. The McCain campaign has also made use of similar voter intelligence, which sometimes dates back for years. They know how long someone has been registered and how often they vote.
You sort of use that as a way to gauge those voters, is how you're going to reach out to them.
As for those who have already voted, the early data suggests an advantage for Obama. That's because more Democrats have voted early than Republicans. Wolf, it is a beautiful day here in Denver, but as you may have saw, the wind wreaking havoc with some of our equipment here. We should point out that the polls here show Obama leading by about 6 points, and while this has been a reliably red state, it's worth noting that the Democrats have done well in state races here. There's a Democratic governor, Bill Ritter. The Democrats also control both state houses, and of course in the United States Senate, you have Ken Salazar, also a Democrat. So while they haven't fared so well in presidential elections, they've done well here locally. Back to you.
All right, Dan, thanks very much. Dan's working the story in Colorado. In Ohio, that is certainly a key state as well to both of these presidential candidates. Obama hoping to steal it from the Republican column, while McCain knows no Republican has ever won the White House without Ohio. So both campaigns right now urging supporters to vote, even if it means standing in very, very long lines. Our own battleground reporter in Ohio is Mary Snow. She's in Columbus. Mary, you're seeing huge lines out there, aren't you?
We are, Wolf. And you know, when we got here this morning, there were people who were camped out for 3 hours before the polling station opened. Those long lines have continued throughout the day, but you know, talking to people, you certainly get a sense more of enthusiasm rather than frustration.
Almost everyone we spoke with said they've never waited this long for anything in their lives. By mid-afternoon, most people were in line in Columbus for at least 3 hours before casting a ballot.
It was worth it.
Why?
Because it's my first time voting, and hopefully it does make a difference.
Frustrated?
Yes. Don't understand why they don't open up more booths, more area. Because they got all these government buildings, and they're not utilizing them.
But while some expressed frustration, there were no reports of tensions. We caught up with one woman who took a break from the line and found volunteers encouraging.
There's a lot of people volunteering and letting us know, you know, what's going on and not to get discouraged. I guess we're like right at the tough part of the line where you think you're going to vote, but you see, you know, there's still a long way to go. They're like, just stick with it, don't leave, you know.
Some were downright happy to see the turnout.
I think it's great. It's wonderful. And this is the way it should be every year, but it hasn't been. It's the first time I've ever seen so many people interested in an election.
Governor Ted Strickland, a Democrat supporting Barack Obama, called the turnout inspiring. With Ohio being closely watched, he acknowledged the possibility of legal challenges on Election Day.
We should take time to do it right. And if that means that the vote count will be delayed for a period of time in order to do it correctly and accurately, then that's what we ought to do.
Bottom line, Wolf, brace for a very long night potentially here in Ohio before we get official results. Wolf?
Ohio, that's a key state, and the McCain people know that without Ohio, they're not going to win the White House. All right, Mary, thank you. with only a few hours to go before Election Day. Where do things stand right now? You're going to see who's up, who's behind in our new battleground poll of polls. And if you're thinking of buying a new car, now may be a good time. Auto sales have dropped to possibly historic levels. You're going to find out which makers are hit the hardest. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
Closed captioning hours provided by Eggland's Best Eggs. Better taste, better nutrition.
In my busy kitchen, I want nothing but the best. Eggland's Best.
In my kitchen, I love Eggland's Best. That's why they're the only eggs I make for my son, the chef.
Eggland's Best, the better egg. Everything you need to stretch out on long trips. Residence Inn. Everything you need to stay balanced on long trips. Residence Inn.
You wanted it to work out here. You wanted it to work right now. You wanted free weekends and free hands. You wanted it to do more and cost less. You wanted your email, text messages, GPS, and MP3s. Your favorite websites, your favorite colors. And tomorrow, you'll want even more. Okay.
The prisons.
For 20 years, Barack Obama followed a preacher of hate and said nothing is right raged against our country.
Not God bless America, God America. U.S. of KKKA.
He built his power base in Wright's church. Wright was his mentor, advisor, and close friend. For 20 years, Obama never complained until he ran for president. Barack Obama, too radical, too risky. The National Republican Trust PAC is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
From social situations to business meetings, a smile can change everything. But if you're uncomfortable with your teeth, that changes things too. Fortunately, there's Invisalign, the clear alternative to braces that's comfortable and removable. Invisalign straightens teeth little by little to treat a wide range of cases. Go to Invisalign.com for a free consultation with an Invisalign dentist or orthodontist and change how the world sees you. Invisalign, the clear alternative to braces.
Deborah Ferrick's monitoring some other important stories incoming to the Situation Room right now. Deb, what's going on?
Well, Wolf, electronics retailer Circuit City is closing 155 stores and laying off about 17% of its U.S. workforce in an effort to become profitable. The closures represent about 20% of Circuit City's more than 700 locations across the country. The Virginia-based company has had only one profitable quarter in the past year. October sales numbers are just coming in from U.S. automakers, and the news there is grim. General Motors is reporting a 45% drop for the month. Chrysler is posting a 35% drop, and Ford sales are down 30% from a year earlier. Toyota, Honda, and Nissan also reported sharp declines in U.S. sales. A top GM official says that when adjusted for population growth, it's likely to be the worst month for U.S. automakers since the end of World War II. And new research shows that teens who regularly watch television shows with sexual content are twice as likely to get pregnant or get someone pregnant as those who don't. The just-released study by the RAND Corporation is the first to link television viewing habits to teen pregnancy rates. The study also finds that children who grow up in two-parent households are less likely to experience a teen pregnancy. Wolf?
Deb Ferrick, thanks very much. Joe Biden's just starting to speak out there. He's just thanking some folks. So we're going to go there shortly and hear what he has to say here in the Situation Room. Also, John McCain facing some final obstacles on the road to the White House, but his campaign sees a way to get around them and win. McCain's options mapped out on our magic wall. Stand by for that. And in the battle for Pennsylvania, no campaign surrogate is too big to go out of his way to small places. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
At ConocoPhillips, we believe we're defined by what we pass on to the next generation. That's why ConocoPhillips is working to provide clean, efficient technology to turn coal into clean fuels for homes, schools, and businesses. Our process helps capture carbon and remove impurities that affect our air quality, so we can pass on what matters to the ones who matter most. ConocoPhillips, energy for tomorrow.
The Japanese have been coming down to Antarctica, and over the years, they've killed literally tens of thousands of whales. And what they want to do is do full-scale whaling. It's up to us to stop them.
Whale Wars, only on Animal Planet.
There's the week, there's the weekend, and then there's the weekender.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the subscription from the New York Times, I love it.
Like your whole weekend's just started. It's come a little early.
So the deal is you call the 1-800 number, and then you get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $4.70, which is half off, which is pretty crazy.
So you get the Friday paper, and boom, you're right into the weekend.
Saturday. The word alone makes me happy.
I love to sort of pull everything out of the Sunday paper.
Travel section,
magazine,
Weekend review,
the international news,
a book review. I got these really great boots after reading the Sunday style section.
All I did was call the 1-800 number.
I'm not one of those call now people.
Call!
You should call now.
I love to have the New York Times delivered.
Who doesn't like to save money?
Call now because it's a great deal.
It's like having a table of contents for everything in the world.
I mean, how much would you give for that?
The Weekender subscription from the New York Times. Get it now for as low as $4.70 a week. Call 1-800-727-7464.
Who doesn't like to start the weekend a day early?
Want to know the best way to get your stains out in the wash? Well, America's leading washer brands, Maytag and Whirlpool, recommend OxyClean, and now have a dispenser for OxyClean, because they know it's better at getting out the spills, the spots, and the splatters. Whether they're ground in, smeared on, or dried up, it doesn't matter. OxyClean lifts away stains detergents can leave behind. Cleaner, brighter, and whiter. That's the power of OxyClean.
Now unleash 2 cleaning powers in 1 detergent. Try new Arm & Hammer Plus OxyClean.
One day before the election.
I'm really excited that I get to vote.
I'm having a great time.
This is my first big election, and I've wanted to vote since I was 12.
This is it. One day to go. Election night in America. CNN tomorrow.
Happening now, an intriguing thought. Could the presidential election end in a tie? It's the nightmare scenario for both campaigns, but it's certainly possible. We're going to tell you exactly how things would have to break for Barack Obama and John McCain to each end up with exactly 269 electoral votes and what would happen next. Stand by for that. Also, closing time, Barack Obama is ahead in the polls, but he's had trouble landing the knockout punch before. We're going to tell you what he's asking supporters to do to help him finish the deal. And the Saturday Night Live effect. John McCain is the latest candidate to take valuable time off the campaign trail to make a guest appearance on the show. Could it really impact the election? I'm Wolf Blitzer at the CNN Election Center. You're in the Situation Room. If the polls are any indication, the presidential race is extremely tight. Look at where things stand in our latest average of various polls. And let's begin in Ohio right now. Here's Ohio. In our poll of polls, Obama 49%, McCain 45%, 6% unsure. That's not much different than the margin of error in most of these polls. That's Ohio. Let's go to another battleground state, Pennsylvania right now. 51% for Obama, 43% for McCain, 6% unsure. That's a little bit more of a breathing area for Barack Obama right now. 21 electoral votes at stake. In Florida, look at how close it is there. 48% for Obama, 46% for McCain, 6% unsure. A huge prize, 27 electoral votes at stake in Florida. Let's go to North Carolina right now. Well, let's do Indiana before we do North Carolina. 47% for McCain, 46% for Obama, 7% unsure. That's well within the margin of error. 11 electoral votes at stake there. Now let's go to North Carolina, and it's 15 electoral votes, well within the margin of error, 49 to 48. Obama slightly ahead, 3% unsure. In Virginia, only a 5-point difference there, and it's 13 electoral votes at stake. 50% for Obama, 45% McCain, 5% unsure. It's pretty close in Virginia. Now let's go to Missouri. Missouri is looking extremely tight. Doesn't get closer than this. 47, 6% unsure. Missouri is a bellwether state, usually knows what it's doing in terms of electing a president. Nevada, Obama at 49%, McCain 44%. A little bit of breathing space for Obama in Nevada, and there's 5 electoral votes in Nevada. Those are all our latest poll of polls. You can see it's getting close in a lot of those races. Let's walk over to John King. It's obviously a huge advantage that Barack Obama has, but some of those states, battleground states, seems to be tightening a little bit.
They are tightening, and in many of those states, the McCain campaign, Wolf would argue, if we get the undecided, if we get the bulk of them, they broke our way, a possibility of pulling off what even top McCain advisors concede would be pretty much of a miracle on Election Day. But let's scope it out and how it looks, and I'll show you a couple different scenarios. Here's where we begin. CNN now projects Obama leading in states with combined 291 electoral votes and 270 wins, so that shows you the steepness of the hill facing Senator McCain. First, Wolf, what Senator McCain has to do, the gold states are our toss-up states left. They're all states carried by George W. Bush 4 years ago. To begin with, Senator McCain needs to run the board tomorrow. You just mentioned how tight Florida is. He needs those 27. North Carolina is about a dead heat. He needs those 15. Ohio, we've said it before, we'll say it again. No Republican has ever won the White House without those. Indiana, another red state. McCain has to win there. The show-me state of Missouri, its winner has won the presidency for 100 years now. McCain needs that. Then out here in the Mountain West, he needs to keep North Dakota and Montana, 2 surprising toss-ups. McCain has to keep them. But look there. Look there. He's still short there. The leading scenario in the McCain campaign, Wolf, is turn Pennsylvania and its 21 electoral votes. That's over here. If he can do that, then he has Barack Obama just at the finish line, but he needs something else, which is why on Election Day, John McCain will vote in Arizona, but then go to both Colorado and Nevada. He is hoping to strike gold out west. If he could turn Nevada after doing everything else, he would bring that back into play if he makes that red and that red. That would get McCain the presidency. Many Republicans think Nevada probably out of reach because of the growing Latino vote there, so he will go back to Colorado. If he could swing Colorado, that would do it. But again, a huge steep hill for Senator McCain. And you just mentioned something coming in. I know you're going to discuss it later, but I want to show you one scenario. If he won Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Indiana, Missouri, and the 2 Mountain West states of North Dakota and Montana, and then switched Colorado and won Pennsylvania, I lost one somewhere. You get to two up. I was trying to get you to 269, and I blew it. But I can show you that if another scenario. McCain has to run the board to get there, and you can get to 269 if you start moving states around out here in the West. But the Mountain West becoming increasingly important to John McCain, why he's campaigning twice in the final days, because they were looking up here, Wolf, in New Hampshire, looking in Iowa. They are increasingly of the mood they're not going to get them in New Hampshire and Iowa, so they're going to make last-ditch efforts in Nevada and Colorado.
It's remote, that 269 scenario, but Bill Schneider is going to show us what would happen if neither of these candidates got 270, the number you need to be elected in the Electoral College. What happens then? That's going to come up, and we're going to be talking about that.
And I'll figure out what I did wrong and show you next time on the map.
All right, we'll figure that out. All right, let's go out to Ohio once again. Senator Joe Biden is speaking at a rally. Let's listen in briefly.
It's within our power to change our circumstances, and change we will. Look, folks, as I said, it's not rocket science. Middle-class people need a tax break. Businesses need a tax break if they invest here in America, not invest abroad. Energy policies. We need an energy policy to free us from the grip of the oligarchs of oil that protects our environment and creates in the process, our policy, 5 million new green jobs. We need to rebuild America. We need an infrastructure, our bridges, our roads, our water systems. Ladies and gentlemen, if we do that, we can create 76,000 new high-paying jobs right here in the state of Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, not only because it's right, not only because it's moral, but because it's good, solid business, we need affordable, available health care for all Americans. And we will make a deal with every one of you young people in this audience and all you parents trying to figure out how to get your child to college as the costs skyrocket. If you serve your country, not just in the military, but in our underserved communities, hospitals, schools, senior centers, rural and urban areas, we will get you to college. And ladies and gentlemen, you know as I do, Ohio knows, maybe better than anyone, all the jobs you've lost. Ultimately, it's about jobs. Ultimately, it's about jobs. And ladies and gentlemen, a job, as many of you know, like Brock and I know, is more than about a paycheck. It is a paycheck, but it's about more than that. It's about dignity. It's about respect. And ladies and gentlemen, when a job is lost or a house is foreclosed on, it's not just an economic loss, it's emotionally
We unfortunately have some very sad news to report to our viewers. A statement just coming in from Senator Barack Obama and his sister telling us all that his 86-year-old grandmother, Senator Obama's 86-year-old grandmother, Madeline Dunham, has just passed away. As you remember, not this past weekend, last weekend, Senator Obama went out to Hawaii to see his grandmother. That was obviously the last time he had a chance to spend some time with her. Here is the statement that Senator Obama and his sister have just released on the death of their grandmother. It is with great sadness that we announce that our grandmother, Madeline Dunham, has died peacefully after a battle with cancer. She was the cornerstone of our family and a woman of extraordinary accomplishment, strength, and humility. She was the person who encouraged and allowed us to take chances. She was proud of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren and left this world with the knowledge that her impact on all of us was meaningful and enduring. Our debt to her is beyond measure. The statement goes on to say, our family wants to thank all of those who sent flowers, cards, well wishes, and prayers during this difficult time. It brought our grandmother and us great comfort. Our grandmother was a private woman, and we will respect her wish for a small private ceremony to be held at a later date. In lieu of flowers, we ask that you make a donation to any worthy organization in search of a cure for cancer. That's a statement coming in from Senator Barack Obama and his sister Maya on the death of their grandmother, Madeline Dunham. And our deepest condolences, obviously, to the entire family. John King is here. You know, it's so tragic. On the eve of potentially his election as President of the United States, to suffer such a personal tragedy. I know how close he was with his grandmother.
And he just took some time off from the campaign trail to rush home to spend some final time with her because they knew she was in grave health. She's a remarkable story in her own right, Wolf. Born Marilyn Payne in Kansas. In World War II, she was one of the many American women who went to work in the military-industrial complex. She was an aircraft inspector for Boeing Aircraft during World War II, when all the men went off to fight the war, and women became so critical in those days, unusual as well, but critical in the war effort. Then she moved to Hawaii in 1960 and was viewed there, if you read the profiles of her, as a pioneer working for the Bank of Hawaii, a woman working for the bank, a pioneer back in those days. So obviously critically important to Barack Obama. He was largely raised by his grandparents in Hawaii while his mother was off around the world doing her work, and which is why he took that break from the campaign trail to go home quickly.
Yeah, and he said he wanted to go see her, and he suspected it might be for the last time because he failed at the end to see his own mother just before she passed away from cancer. And he said that at the time when he decided to go out to Hawaii, suspend his campaigning for a couple of days, he said he didn't want to make that same mistake twice, and at least he had a chance over the past 10 days to say goodbye to her and spend a little quality time with her in Hawaii. I had a chance when I interviewed him on Friday in Iowa. We spoke a little bit about his grandmother, and you could see in his eyes how sad he was about what was going on, and he appreciated the outpouring of support. In fact, I think we have that exchange. I want to play it right now. We're out of time, but you know, all of us were moved last weekend when you went to see your grandmother in Hawaii. I know she watches CNN because she says she watches CNN. And she might be watching right now, and I know how proud she must be that you've reached this level and on the verge, potentially, of becoming President of the United States. How emotional is this for you and for her at this moment?
Well, you know, look, she's my grandma, and she helped raise me, and she put off a lot of things in her own life to make sure that myself and my sister, that we were taken care of. So a big chunk of whatever success I've achieved is because of her. I love her dearly, and she knows that. And if she is listening, I just want to make sure that she's getting her rest and hopefully getting better. And we wish her only the best and speedy recovery. Thank you so much. To your grandma. Great to talk to you. Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Unfortunately, we just learned only moments ago that Madeline Dunham, the 86-year-old grandmother of Senator Barack Obama, has passed away. That was his great fear, that it would happen. And you know, it's so sad that she didn't make it. If, in fact, he wins tomorrow, and the polls show that he obviously is the front runner right now, that she didn't make it in a few more days to be able to treasure that, although I'm sure how proud she must have been to see his accomplishments over these past several years.
It's a incredibly sad loss for the family, and the timing, as you mentioned, is horrible in any event, win or lose tomorrow. But Barack Obama on the poise of potential history here in the United States, and his grandmother so critical in shaping his life. The picture I think we showed earlier, I believe it's an AP photo, is when he was at Columbia University, and you see both of his grandparents sitting next to him on a bench. That's here in New York City when he was a student at Columbia University years ago. And what Obama will tell interviewers about his grandmother, and his grandfather for that matter, and his mother, were that they drilled into him that education was his pathway. Education was the pathway for him as a young African-American to achieve more and to better himself and to move forward. So you see a very happy college student, Barack Obama, there with his grandmother back in his Columbia University days. The timing is just, you can't find the words for it. It's just horrible.
He often spoke of how his grandmother started off as a clerk or a secretary at a bank, and she worked her way up to a major executive position, how proud he was of her own accomplishments in her own right, and how much he sacrificed, as we just heard from him, how much he sacrificed to make sure he would have what he needed to grow up in Hawaii and move beyond. So I can only express on your behalf and our behalf, all of us at CNN, all of our viewers' behalf, how sad it is to have to report this news that Senator Obama's grandmother, Madeline Dunham, has passed away. And I guess at this point, they just have to go on and, you know, do a little bit more campaigning and see what happens tomorrow.
At a moment of sadness, I assume what is paramount in Senator Obama's mind is that he's here because of his efforts of his grandmother and his grandfather and his mother, and that he believes the most important tribute he could make to her is to finish the job, I'm sure.
We're going to check in with the campaign and our reporters there covering the campaign to see what's next for Senator Obama today and tomorrow in the aftermath of this very, very tragic loss. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll continue our coverage right after this.
Picture trying to build a 50 billion bits per second network for 45,000 employees in an office building the size of a massive stadium that connects to the entire country, and building it all in under 2 months. And then you can picture the network Quest built for the Republican National Convention. Now picture what we can do for you, no matter the size of your business. Get Quest. Get nimble.
Nag.
Kvetch.
Annoy.
Demand.
Bother.
Put your lips together.
And ask.
And ask.
Where your candidate for president
stands on health care.
And spending more resources on the prevention.
On the prevention
of chronic diseases.
And make sure. You get an answer.
An answer.
An answer. Then vote like your health depends on it. Because it does.
Ladies, you know how to ask, don't you?
Every day, millions of people choose to do the right thing. There's an insurance company that does that too. Responsibility. What's your policy? Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Larry King tonight. Cindy McCain. Why she thinks her husband will be the comeback kid. Cindy McCain on Larry King Live. CNN tonight, 9 Eastern.
Hi, I'm John Scherer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. I'm the guy that gives away the free computer learning lessons. Well, today I'm here to tell you about a great new product that many of you have been asking for. And here it is, how to buy and sell on eBay, and I'll give it to you free. Now, I'm not going to tell you that I can make you the next millionaire selling an attic full of baseball cards, but I can guarantee you that I'll teach you everything you need to know about eBay while cleaning out your garage and probably putting some money in your pocket at the same time. Now, I can do this because I know that once you try my lesson on eBay, you'll be so satisfied that the next time you need to learn anything about computers, you'll come back to Video Professor for all your computer learning needs. And with over 55 lessons on all of today's most popular computer programs, I know that there's more you'll want to learn. Don't forget, call now and I'll send you eBay or any other lesson of your choice free. So what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call 1-800-680-1983.
Special Election Day coverage on American Morning, 5 a.m. tomorrow.
Once again, the breaking news that we've been following just moments ago, a statement coming in from Senator Obama and his sister Maya that their grandmother, Madeline Dunham, 86 years old, has just passed away of cancer in Hawaii. Very sad news that on this, the day before potentially he could be elected President of the United States, we have to report this very, very sad news. Donna Brazil and Bill Bennett are here. Donna, I don't know if you ever met Senator Obama's grandmother. I could only express the feelings that I'm sure all of our viewers are feeling, how sad it is that on this day he loses his grandmother.
No, I never had an opportunity to meet her, but I do know how much Senator Obama loved her, looked up to her. She was his rock. She was such an inspiration in his life. If you read his first book, In Dreams of My Father, he talks so much about her inspiration. And of course, when he made the decision to stay in Hawaii, when his mother went back overseas, he said because he knew his grandmother would be there and to help him. She put him through school. She raised money like his grandfather to make sure that he had a decent education. And I'm sure, you know, the Obama family tonight are in deep mourning, but there's an old scripture that I'm sure that he knows, and that's weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And tomorrow is the day that Senator Obama will remember that his grandmother and grandfather, his mother, prepared him for.
Certainly true. Bill, what goes through your mind at a sad moment like this?
I thought personally I was raised, Wolf, by a mother and a grandmother. I dedicated my PhD dissertation to my grandmother. You know, I was thinking, as Donna was talking there, just that last sentiment, it's too bad that it couldn't have gone at least another day, given what may well happen tomorrow. But I wonder if somewhere in his own mind he might be able to get some solace in thinking that now that's the prelude. That part of my life is over. And tomorrow, perhaps, a whole new life begins for him. All that preparation that Donna was talking about, and it all comes tomorrow, perhaps in unbelievable realization and fulfillment.
Yeah, and I'm sure he would. You remember, Donna, when he got that nomination at the Democratic Convention in Denver. I believe it was then that he dedicated that speech that he was going to give to his grandmother because of the role she played in bringing him up. And you know, when I pointed this out just a few moments ago when I interviewed him Friday in Iowa, and I raised the issue, about his grandmother, you could see that he knew how awful the situation was, how I guess he was comforted in the fact he went out there and did have a little time with her before she passed away. I can only imagine, if he had not done that, how he would be feeling so much worse right now, knowing that his grandmother had died as she did on the eve, potentially, as we say, of his election, potentially, as President of the United States. It's a sad story. So what does he do now? He's supposed to do, Donna, have a rally in the 6 p.m. Eastern hour. Does he cancel that? Does he speak about her grandmother? I mean, these are tough questions, tough decisions he has to make.
Well, Senator Obama is a man of enormous personal strength and inner convictions, and I'm sure that he will find it in his soul and his spirit to continue on. This has been a very long journey for Senator Obama, who many of us know came out of nowhere just a few years ago. And he's now in the lead in terms, if you believe the polls, and I do. And I think that tonight he is going to continue to dedicate this journey to his grandmother and many other grandmothers and grandfathers and so many others who have made this journey possible. So look for Senator Obama to find it in himself. And I know when he took time off to go off to Hawaii to see her, that was the right move to make. So many of us in politics and public life understand what it is to sacrifice, and some of the things you give up is, of course, and Bill knows this, is that you give up time with your family, but he made time to go and see her and say his goodbyes, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure he was comforted in knowing that. That rally, by the way, Bill, is supposed to be in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're getting some guidance that it looks like it's still going to go forward, and I guess the argument could be made this is what his grandmother would want him to do at this point, try to wrap it up as best as he can.
Well, you've had grandmothers, Wolf. I've had grandmothers. Don't they all have the same message, which is work hard, study hard, and make something of yourself? Well, pretty good, I'd say. Pretty good. He could deliver that tonight and just report what she taught him and let the crowd take the rest. It's sure he should go on with it, and obviously he will pay tribute to her. But, you know, all grandmothers can identify with the success and that her message has gotten across to her grandson.
And all grandchildren can identify with him right now because I don't think there are any grandchildren out there who don't love their grandparents. And you know, grandparents play special roles in the lives. But in his particular case, with his father basically gone from his life and his mother having spent a couple of years basically gone, it was his two grandparents out there, both from Kansas originally, but out in Hawaii, that spent all that time making sure he was doing his homework, he was studying, enabling him eventually to wind up at Columbia University and at Harvard Law School, where he was the president of the Harvard Law Review. Those are not easy accomplishments, as all of us know, and he, you know, he could credit his grandparents for helping him get to that level, and I'm sure he's thinking about all that right now.
Well, we still, in all respect, want to beat him, you know, in the election tomorrow. But my goodness, she prepared him very, very well. They have to be in heaven very, very proud of this young man. What a fabulous job they did, and what a great example he is to kids, white and black, all over the country in so many ways, win or lose.
Well, let's talk a little bit about predictions because the election will take place tomorrow. Donna, what do you see happening, first of all, on the Electoral College level?
Well, Wolf, and again, I'm basing it on all of the polls and the average of the polls. It's clear to me that Senator Obama is still maintaining a significant lead with 291 electoral votes. Of course, 1/3 of the country have voted already, absentee or early, but we still have a substantial number of people who must show up at the polls tomorrow to ensure that these 291 electoral votes. Look, if he has a good day tomorrow with turnout and getting his voters out in Virginia and North Carolina and Georgia and some of those early states, including Indiana, he could well achieve, you know, over 300 electoral votes. And of course, those Mountain West states like Nevada, Colorado are crucial, New Mexico, and putting them over the top because a large percentage of Hispanics reside in those states. And I'm sure that's one reason why John McCain is going to make one last-minute appeal to go out there and to try to, you know, shift the momentum in his favor.
All right. And Bill, I know you've been thinking, we asked you to spend some time thinking about that Electoral College, 270, the magic number, and your bottom line is?
273 McCain, 268 Obama.
Wow.
1948, Wolf, Dewey, Truman, they asked 50 political experts what they thought. They asked the people in Vegas what they thought. All the posters predicted Dewey. Truman beat him. Remember that newspaper? I know you've seen that picture. It ain't over till it's over, and it's not over till the people say so. Not the pollsters, not the pundits, and so we shall see.
We shall see what happens. Give me a surprise, Donna. One surprise that you think might happen tomorrow.
Well, of course, I've been looking at the Senate races because that's another area where voters will be paying attention. North Carolina, I predict that Kay Hagan will defeat Elizabeth Dole. I also predict that in Georgia, that Taxi Chambliss will not reach 50%, therefore will be in a runoff against Jim Martin. I predict that Mitch McConnell will lose to Steve Lundgren, and I also predict that Mary Landrieu, my home state senator, who I'm proud of, will win her Senate race in Louisiana.
Give me a surprise on your part, Bill.
Well, I said, gee, Donna's all in. I was going to say I'm all in. She's in pretty strong, too. House races, Wolf, much discussed in Minnesota. You know, the Michelle Bachmann race, where she said some things on TV and a couple $1 million went in to support her Democrat opponent, but I think she will prevail. 2 black Republicans will win. Allen West in Florida will take back the Clay Shaw seat, and Dr. Deborah Honeycutt, a physician, will win the seat from Scott in Georgia. And John Murtha, you cannot insult your constituents like that. He will lose to William Russell.
All right, we'll see what happens. Guys, thanks very much, Donna Brazile and Bill Bennett. John McCain's presidential hopes may be riding on Pennsylvania right now, the 11th hour campaign to get out the vote. And he's come so far. Can Barack Obama seal the deal with voters? The last-minute hopes and the doubts. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
Coverage of America Votes 2008 is brought to you by Cisco. Welcome to the Human Network. And by Divided We Fail. Demand action from the presidential candidates and our leaders at dividedwefail.org. Visit the Election Center at cnn.com/election for in-depth information on the candidates.
Welcome aboard Flight 1120.
There are 6 exits on this plane.
2 exits on each side.
And 2 window exits over the wing.
To fasten your seatbelt.
Transfer the flat metal tab into the buckle until it locks securely.
To tighten.
Pull the strap.
A water evacuation.
Unlikely.
But just in case, your seat cushion
may also be used
as a flotation
device.
It's our pleasure to have you aboard.
From all of us,
Thank you
for flying.
Business travel without the travel. That's the Human Network Effect. Cisco Telepresence. Welcome to the Human Network.
I was just out of college. I was living in New York City. I had everything in front of me, and then I got really sick. I started to see doctors, and I went to specialists, and it was that time they discovered I had Lyme disease. After a year of going through tests, my medical bills were about $50,000. If I had to do it all over again, I don't know what I would do differently. I had health insurance. I had good health insurance, is what I thought.
Conquered the skies. Conquered Mount Everest. Conquered the moon. Conquered the neck. Philips Norelco Architect. Designed with a flexible head, which allows it to pivot and rotate freely. So now you can easily get a close shave, even on the neck.
People talk about the United States being the sole superpower. In fact, that's a product of decisions. In some cases, decisions that were made 20 years ago by President Reagan.
I will cut investments in unproven missile defense systems. I will slow our development of future combat systems.
The consequences of 4 years of incompetent government in the military and national security arena could be disastrous.
I will not develop new nuclear weapons. You know where I stand.
When we see candidates that unmistakably convey a determination neither to use military power nor to ensure that they have it at their disposal should it be necessary, they are conveying to our enemies weakness, and weakness invites aggression.
It will not be 6 months before the world tests Barack Obama. I guarantee you it's going to happen.
Let Freedom Ring, paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. We reinvented the debate. We revolutionized primary coverage and set new TV ratings records. Now, we'll change the game again. Election night in America. CNN tomorrow night.
Check back with Jack. He's got the Cafferty file, Jack.
Question this hour is how are you going to deal with election withdrawal come Wednesday? Nancy says, I'm going to start exercising and go back on my diet. No more nervous eating while glued to the television. Unless McCain wins, then nothing matters. Carolyn writes, I'll be glad it's all over. I will continue to pray and meditate. I haven't felt this much anxiety since Katrina came through Laurel, Mississippi, and I woke up to such destruction. Kevin in Dallas, Texas, the only thing sad about this election ending is that on Wednesday, you guys will be back to reporting on the trials and tribulations of Lindsay Lohan and Paris Hilton. John in Pittsburgh, I think I'll take up the lost art of reading, try to mitigate all the soundbite damage that's been done to my brain. Jack writes, we won't, but the press will. They've got the obsession, not the electorate. All 24/7 news shows and programs should shut down for a couple of weeks to go through detox. You'd do us all a favor. Hey, I'm in favor of that. Donnie writes, I'll be basking in the glow of Bush isn't going to be the president very much longer. And Bob in Morristown, New Jersey, if Obama wins, I'll tune in to see if I can do anything to help him rescue our nation. If McCain wins, I'm opening a travel agency specializing in one-way tickets. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty file and look for yours there among hundreds of others. Wolf.
All right, Jack, thank you. And to our viewers, you're in the Situation Room happening now. Election day only hours away. Each candidate looking for a last-minute edge. Barack Obama taking the fight to red state turf. John McCain on a 7-state race to the finish line. But amid all the frenzied campaigning, Barack Obama just a few moments ago announcing a deep personal loss, the death of his grandmother. We'll have more on this story coming up. And on the eve of the election, the campaigns are locked in trench warfare in a handful of battleground states. We're going to show you what's at stake and where on our electoral map. And one new battleground state has already processed nearly 500,000 absentee ballots. But the McCain campaign files an 11th-hour lawsuit to extend a key deadline. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. With the presidential campaign heading into its final hours, both candidates are giving it everything they have, making one last push for votes. Barack Obama is ahead in the polls, but warning his supporters not to take anything for granted. But on this final day, Obama suffers a deep personal blow, the death of his grandmother who helped raise him. Let's go to CNN's Jessica Yellen. She's in Chicago. We just learned about this very, very sad development on the eve of the election, just in the last hour, half hour or so, Jessica. And I know you just learned about it as well in a statement that the senator and his sister released. But tell us what's going on this day, what happened so far, and what we're about to see.
Wolf, Barack Obama's grandmother, Madeline Dunham, we're told died at her home in Hawaii last night of cancer. It happened around 4 or 5 a.m. Florida time, which is where Barack Obama was this morning. We're told he learned about it at 8 in the morning when he woke up this morning. The campaign waited to release a statement, and in part that statement reads, it's from Obama and his sister, that their grandmother was the person who encouraged and allowed us to take chances. She was proud of her grandchildren and great-grandchildren and left this world with the knowledge that her impact on all of us was meaningful and enduring. Our debt to her is beyond measure. As you know, Barack Obama left the campaign trail a short time ago, about a week and a half ago, to visit with his grandmother. When he came back, he said, look, it was good to visit with her, but she said, go back and do what you need to do. And that's what he was doing all day today, campaigning with the knowledge that his grandmother had just passed. On his last full day of campaigning, Barack Obama reprised a theme that's moved undecided voters in the past.
John McCain actually came here to Veterans Memorial Arena and repeated something he said at least 16 times on this campaign. He said, and I quote, "The fundamentals of our economy are strong." Florida, you and I know that not only was John McCain fundamentally wrong, it sums up the fact that he's out of touch. This out of touch on your own economic philosophy.
At the same time, he urged supporters not to trust the polls, to get out and vote.
We can't afford to slow down or sit back or let up. Not 1 minute, not 1 hour, not 1 second, not any time in the next 36 hours. Not now. Not when there's so much at stake.
Obama is closing out his campaign with a push to expand the map, rallying in 3 cities that voted for Bush in 2004, Jacksonville, Florida, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Manassas, Virginia. And he's sending his top surrogates to one-time red states, Michelle to Nevada.
This year has been fun, the rallies are great, but the only day that matters is tomorrow.
And Biden to Missouri.
We need to get out and elect Barack Obama, President of the United States, tomorrow.
The candidate did seem to reveal his own prediction for tomorrow.
We are 1 day away from changing the United States of America.
Now, Wolf, Barack Obama is going to be speaking shortly. I was just in touch with the campaign to ask if he will be addressing his grandmother's passing. They did not have any information on that. They didn't know if he will, so we'll wait to see.
We'll be there live as well. All right, Jessica, thank you. John McCain may be running out of time, but he's still running hard, a 7-state marathon, which he hopes will help him catch Barack Obama at the finish line. Let's go to Brian Todd. He's in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania, one of the key battleground states. McCain's final strategy, Brian, what are you picking up?
Well, Wolf, that strategy is to push hardest in states that are close. John McCain not shying away from those states where he's behind, and if he does not pull this out tomorrow, it certainly won't be for a lack of effort. What does a 72-year-old man running on adrenaline sound like?
Don't give up hope. Be strong. Have courage and fight. Fight for a new direction for our country and for what's right for America.
In one dizzying day, 7 stops in 7 states for the Republican nominee. Recent polls say that except for Tennessee and Arizona, John McCain either trails or is tied in the states he visits in this final full day of campaigning. But those same polls show the race is tightening in several key states, including 3 on Monday's itinerary. Blunteville, Tennessee should be McCain country, but it's also within shouting distance of Virginia, where McCain's vulnerable. So at that stop, he offered some Republican red meat.
We're going to cut taxes for working families. We'll cut business taxes to help create jobs, and we'll keep American businesses in America.
Analysts say McCain has to hit on points like those in the final stretch.
You can't change your message in the last 48 hours. You just have to drill down on what you've got. From McCain, that means drilling down on taxes and on spending.
On the plane, a top McCain official joked about the lagging poll numbers, saying they wanted to make sure their man didn't peak too early. McCain made his own joke later, alluding to what he believes is Barack Obama's overconfidence.
My opponent is measuring the drapes in the White House. You know, they may not know it, but the Mac is back.
That measuring the drapes comment very popular in rallies these past few days, as is another theme that John McCain has been hitting on. He is warning voters, be careful of electing Barack Obama to go along with Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, and Barney Frank in Congress. The McCain team thinks they can get traction by warning voters of total liberal control on both sides of Pennsylvania Avenue. Wolf.
And Brian, he's taking the pretty unusual step of not even letting up tomorrow, Election Day. He's going out there on the campaign trail.
That's right. He's going to vote in Arizona. Then he hits Grand Junction, Colorado, and Albuquerque, New Mexico. Two states, again, very close. It is unusual. The McCain team feels that they're in play, and if they make that last-ditch push, even while voters are heading to the polls on the East Coast, then they can maybe get over the top in those places.
All right, Brian is working the story in Philadelphia. Jack Cafferty has got the Cafferty file. Jack.
The prescription for tomorrow is comfortable shoes and patience. It's going to be awesome. Never in recent memory has there been so much interest in a presidential election. More than a third of Americans are expected to have already voted by the time the polls open tomorrow, and that's a 50% increase from 2004. But that doesn't mean there won't be a lot of people in front of you in line when you get to the polls. Young people have signed up in unprecedented numbers. New voter registrations have broken records in almost every state. Turnout, you recall, in a lot of the primaries was staggering. So be prepared. Be aware also that tomorrow is a chance for all of us to strike a blow for democracy, and God knows she could use a shot in the arm. We're at our best as a nation, I think, when we're all involved, right? But that involvement tomorrow will come with a price. You're probably going to have to wait, maybe for a long time. While you're standing there in line, grumbling that the line isn't moving or the machine is broken, remember what it was that got you into that line in the first place. This may well be the most important election we've ever had. Here's the question. How long are you willing to wait to vote? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file, and you can post a comment on my blog. Wolf.
Some people have been telling me in Florida, for example, they went out a couple times last week. There were 2-hour waits, and they said, you know what, maybe it'll ease up a little bit when they open up more polling booths on Tuesday, which is the regular election day. But there's a lot of frustration out
Florida.
there.
Yeah.
Remember that
Florida.
state?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Jack, thank you. Battleground Pennsylvania, John McCain making an all-out effort to wrestle the state out of the Obama column. We're on the front lines of the political ground war. Plus, CNN's John King, he's standing by live. We'll take an 11th hour look at the magic map to see where all of this stands on election eve. And the almost unthinkable, an electoral tie. What happens if the race for the White House does not end tomorrow? Stay with us here in the Situation Room.
When Hurricane Katrina came through, we lost everything. We lost our business. Our Trusted Choice insurance agent took care of us in the worst possible time in anybody's lives. The good times are rolling again. Had it not been for our Trusted Choice agent, I promise you we would not be here today.
Trusted Choice independent insurance agents offer coverage from a choice of companies and pledge to be there for you when disaster strikes your home or business.
To find a Trusted Choice agent near you, visit trustedchoice.com.
Hey, Bobby, act like you got some old Mutual, will ya?
When it comes to new thinking about your financial future, are you saying Old Mutual?
Phillips Norelco Architect, the shaver with a flexible head that pivots and rotates freely. So now you can easily get a close shave, even on the neck.
In 4 days, load up the car for the comedy event of the season. Or you can walk.
Wait for me!
DreamWorks Madagascar 2, rated PG, in theaters and IMAX.
You know me. Almost 30 years behind the sports desk has turned me into somebody larger than life. Literally. But those days are back, gone. I'm Chris Berman, and I lost 41 pounds with Nutrisystem.
Just order Nutrisystem from N today to get 4 weeks of awesome food and learn how to get 3 extra weeks free.
Let's go to the highlights. Mike, all I ate was Golic bread, down 51 pounds. Don Blue Suede Shula, down 32 pounds. Dan Glam Man Marino, lost 22 pounds. Guys, you can do this.
You'll get 4 weeks of satisfying meals for less than $3 each. That's 140 rib-sticking meals.
My goal was 40 pounds, and look, he could go all the way. If I can lose the weight, you can lose the weight.
Call 877-929-THIN now or go online and find out how you can get 3 additional weeks free.
CNN is keeping them honest. This election, if you have trouble at the polls, call the CNN voter hotline, 1-877-462-6608. That's 1-877-GO-CNN08 to report any problems.
With Election Day only hours away, the campaign has come down to trench warfare in a handful of key battleground states. Let's bring back our chief national correspondent, John King. John, the candidates have mobilized all their resources because the clock is ticking.
The clock is ticking, Wolf, and one state that both campaigns view as decisive is Pennsylvania. It is right here. It is 21 electoral votes. The Democrats have carried this state in every presidential election since 1988, but John McCain says he has to win it. To do so, he's up against an enormous Obama ground army, and he's hoping, Wolf, for support from voters who voted for another Democrat in the primaries.
Goal now is to knock on as many doors as possible.
The ground war matters most now, and Democrats from the governor on down know Pennsylvania is a decisive battleground.
Governor Palin and Senator McCain have been living in Pennsylvania the last 4 weeks. In fact, we're thinking of charging them state income tax.
Philadelphia's African-American population is Barack Obama's base.
Obama, yay! Yay! I'm working with the Obama campaign.
But predominantly white neighborhoods where most of these volunteers spread out are critical if the statewide race is close.
We're looking for 106.
Down the street a bit, team leader Pat Wish buzzes an undecided voter who has heard from Camp Obama more than once within minutes.
Yeah, but you guys just called me. I just had this conversation.
Did you?
But thanks anyway.
Well, is it Obama, I hope?
I haven't really decided.
You haven't
Thanks
really?
for the call.
Well, lots of good luck.
The undecideds worry Camp Obama most this late. In a Democratic neighborhood like this, the worry is race might play a role, though Wish says she is much more concerned about other parts of the state.
I'm not so sure about the small towns where people are having a difficult time with the race issue.
The scope of the operation is stunning. In Pennsylvania alone, more than 500 paid Obama campaign staffers and thousands of volunteers. Plus friends, 4,000 union volunteers in Philadelphia alone for the final push, as many as 15,000 statewide.
Well, listen, you know what? My dad was in the union for a long time.
The smaller McCain ground army has 100 paid staffers in the state and roughly 15,000 volunteers, but is aggressively targeting union members who tilt conservative on social issues.
It's like the defense of marriage and the rights of the unborn. Great. Thank you very much.
The McCain effort includes veterans of Hillary Clinton's primary bid like Joyce Levy, who say they can't back the Democrat who won.
Barack Obama has a very thin resume. I think he's not qualified to be president.
Helping the McCain effort on the ground in Pennsylvania, 1,000 members of what they call Democrats for McCain Wolf, 1,000 members were helping in the final days. I want to show you quickly the state as we show this area. Here's 2 critical areas. Up here, this is the 04 map, but up here is where Hillary Clinton did very well in the primaries. And watch this area down here. I'm going to bring it up. This is the key. I'll move this line over here and stretch this out just a little bit and show you. These are the Philadelphia suburbs, all blue from when John Kerry won it. The last time a Republican won this state is George H.W. Bush. Look at that. This is what John McCain needs to do. Not necessarily turn them all red, but do much better in these suburbs than any Republican has done since that race 20 years ago.
And that's not an easy assignment. Later, Bill Schneider is going to tell us what were to happen. It's unlikely, but it's possible. There could be 269, you need 270 to be elected president. He'll explain what would happen if that scenario were to unfold, but explain how it's technically possible, theoretically possible, to get to that kind of tie.
There are a few scenarios. I tried to show you one last hour, and I had a little brain lock. Let me show you the most likely scenario for 269, and it's highly unlikely. But if there is to be 269, here's how most people believe it would play out. John McCain would win Florida. John McCain would come up here and win North Carolina. he would make a dramatic comeback in the state of Virginia and get that. He would win Ohio. He would win Indiana. He would come over here and win Missouri. He would get these 2 states up here, North Dakota in the Mountain West and Montana in the Mountain West. Look where we are right now, Wolf. Colorado is 9 electoral votes. Take it off and switch it. There's 269, 269. Highly unlikely, but it is a possibility as we head into election day.
And Bill Schneider is going to show us later this hour what would happen in terms of the Constitution, the House of Representatives, the Senate. It's a fascinating scenario to watch out, and we're going to watch it play potentially right here in the situation.
Would make that Florida recount from 8 years ago look like the minor leagues.
Well, wait till you see this report. All right, John, thanks very much. She told the judge her father died, but now the truth is out. What the missing juror from Senator Ted Stevens' trial was really up to, you're going to hear from her. That's coming up. Plus, Barack Obama's election night party is posing some serious security challenges. Maybe 1 million people are expected. We're on the scene in Chicago looking at what officials are worried about most. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
Plastics, medicines, and innovations that make life modern come from one place. American Chemistry. AmericanChemistry.com. Essential.
All right, firefighters, settle down. How about the budget? And the taxes?
What page you left?
Anyone want better roads?
We do.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Done. A lot of paper to tell us we need clean water. Need clean water, guys? All right, this is the easiest job I've ever had. We're out of here.
Get work done now with new rugged Nextel Direct Connect phones for $69.99, only on the Now Network.
One of the biggest challenges for geoscientists is trying to find the oil and gas that's hidden below the surface of the Earth. Lately, our researchers have developed a new technology called R3M. You can't see it and you can't feel it, but the Earth has electromagnetic waves. And if you build the right kinds of listening devices, you can make sense of those waves. So using those tools, we can supply more of the energy that we need with less of an impact on the environment.
We reinvented the debate. We revolutionized primary coverage and set new TV ratings records. Now, we'll change the game again. Election night in America. CNN tomorrow night.
I know you're concerned about the economy and your future. A state treasurer with the right priorities can help. I'm Ben Westland.
Since fighting cancer, Ben has championed affordable health care and covering Oregon's uninsured kids. Ben saved taxpayers millions of dollars by lowering the cost of school bonds, and he'll prepare our children for the good jobs of tomorrow. As treasurer, Ben Westland will invest in wind and solar to lower our energy costs.
My priority will be to help you.
Now pay attention. 2 machine guns fixed. Revolving number plates.
Titanium armor.
Stinger missile.
Hydrochloric acid.
Sonic agitator unit.
X-ray scanner.
An ordinary tin of talcum powder. Smoke screen.
A fingerprint scanner.
Heat-seeking.
Homing device.
Pen. Underwater camera. Telescopic sight.
GPS tracking system.
A Geiger counter. You got it?
Yes, I think so.
From all 21 Bond films to sports to concerts and hit shows, only Comcast gives you over 1,000 HD choices. Comcast. No one gives you more HD.
Honest reporting. Anderson Cooper 360. CNN Tonight, 10 Eastern.
All right, there's a story just coming into the Situation Room. Let's check in with Deborah Farrick. What's going on, Deb?
Well, Wolf, we can tell you that bones found near the California plane of Steve Fawcett have been identified as positive. They are Steve Fawcett's bones. They were identified by the Sheriff's Department about a half a mile from where those remains were found. In other news, a juror who held up deliberations in Senator Ted Stevens' corruption trial has admitted she lied to be excused. It turns out she didn't have to attend her father's funeral. She says she made up the story and went to a horse race instead. The court used an alternate juror, and Stevens was convicted last week of failing to report thousands of dollars in gifts. Stevens today said the juror's lie made it clear that his guilty verdict was flawed. His sentencing is postponed pending appeal.
But I didn't think the trial was going to last as long as it did. What, it was about 5-6 weeks the trial lasted. I bought my ticket probably about March or April. And I knew I was going to the Breeders' Cup. I had a lot of reasons I wanted and needed to go.
And that was the juror. Now, in other news, the Supreme Court heard arguments today in a case that could limit liability claims against drug makers. Wyeth is appealing nearly $7 million in damages won by a musician who lost her lower arm to gangrene after being improperly injected with an anti-nausea drug. Her lawyers say Wyeth should have given stronger warnings about the dangers of giving the drug via what's called an IV push. But Wyeth says it acted properly by including the FDA's approved warnings on the label. Now, police are appealing for an anonymous caller to come forward and say more about the shootings last night at a makeshift homeless camp near Los Angeles. 3 men and 2 women were shot to death there last night. The anonymous caller helped police find the bodies. Neighbors reported hearing gunshots and screaming coming from the camp near a freeway off the ramp. And automakers recorded one of their worst sales months ever. GM sales plummeted 45% in October. Toyota's U.S. sales fell more than 20%, while Ford sales tumbled 30%. The industry says tight credit and the weak economy are to blame. Wolf?
Ted Farrick working the other news for us. Thank you. CNN is keeping them honest. If you have trouble at the polls, you can call CNN Voter Hotline. Help us track the problems, and we'll report the trouble in real time. Here's the number: 1-877-462-6608. That's 1-877-462-6608, and we'll make sure that we get all over that story. You'll be able to view where all these calls are coming from at CNN.com. Our internet reporter, Abby Tatton, has more on this. Abby, what sorts of problems are people reporting?
Wolf, we're not even at Election Day at this point, and already we've had more than 10,000 calls to CNN's voter hotline, calls and complaints that are being mapped right here at this map. 10,000 complaints. We've received about 30,000 calls in total. The other people asking for information, other information here, but these are the complaints that have been mapped so far. The darker the state, the more complaints we have received from there. And so far, 3 out of the 5 counties that we've received most complaints from have been from Florida. Broward County, Dade, and Palm Beach. And if I show you this iReport up here, you'll look at one of the main things that people are reporting. That's poll access problems, the long lines that have been coming from these early vote locations that closed yesterday. This is a CNN iReporter in Miami who was reporting that, but we've also getting reports. Some of the top complaints that we've been getting are also registration issues and problems with receiving absentee ballots. You can follow them all at CNN.com, but this election, people have access to tools that they just didn't have in previous elections, not just on CNN's iReport that people are sending in information. YouTube has a tool, Video the Vote. We're encouraging people to upload their pictures as they go to the polls tomorrow. And also on Twitter.com, people are sending in their updates via text message. We're going to be looking at all these sites as we go into Election Day. Wolf?
Thanks very much, Abby, for that. Some see him as being on the verge of victory right now, but Barack Obama isn't counting on it. He's still fighting to close the deal and battling for a decisive win. Also, the Obama campaign puts a spin on the latest McCain endorsement. Is Vice President Dick Cheney's backing helping or hurting the Republican ticket? Paul Begala and Alex Castellanos, they're standing by to weigh in live, plus their predictions for Election Day surprises. And what if the race ends at a tie? It is a possibility, as we just saw John King show us on the magic map. But there are some interesting rules in the Constitution how to get out of that tie. We're going to show you what would happen. Stay with us. You're in the Situation Room.
So I'm at my doctor's again because my asthma symptoms came back again. Turns out asthma doesn't go away. There's still inflammation in my airways. So even when I'm symptom-free, I'm not asthma-free. Now I'm taking Symbicort, and I've noticed a difference in my breathing. It combines 2 medicines to help control inflammation and constriction all day and night, and starts to open my airways within 15 minutes. Yeah, it's good to be in control. Symbicort won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden symptoms and should not be taken more than twice a day. Symbicort contains formoterol. Medicines like formoterol may increase the chance of asthma-related death, so Symbicort is not for people whose asthma is well controlled on other asthma medicines. See your doctor if your asthma does not improve or gets worse. I know Symbicort works to help control my asthma. That makes a difference to me. Ask your doctor if Symbicort is right for you.
If you cannot afford your prescription, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Election Night in America, CNN tomorrow. Sponsored by Cisco.
The world is a noisy place, but you can relax in your own peaceful sanctuary. Experience the Bose Quiet Comfort 2 acoustic noise-canceling headphones. Quiet Comfort headphones deliver an unmatched combination of highly acclaimed noise reduction, audio performance, and comfortable fit. Owners tell us how musical nuances come through in almost any environment. QC2 headphones offer the lifelike audio performance you'd expect from Bose, the most respected name in sound. These comfortable headphones electronically identify and reduce noise while faithfully preserving music or tranquility. Travel and Leisure Golf says these headphones allow you to forget the world outside. Use our 30-day risk-free trial. Ask about making 12 easy payments with no interest charges from Bose. Order now and receive free shipping. Call today and leave the noise behind.
You're only as old mutual as you feel.
Hey, Bobby, act like you got some old mutual, will ya?
That's more Old Mutual. Business or pleasure?
Seriously? Stop talking.
Business.
When it comes to new thinking about your financial future, are you saying Old Mutual?
To our viewers here in the Situation Room, happening now, Election Day only hours away. Some voters still haven't decided how they'll cast their ballot. Which candidate stands to benefit from the fence sitters? Also, an 11th hour controversy goes to court in a critical toss-up state. We're on the front lines of the campaign battle for Virginia. Plus, it's a setting causing some serious concern for those charged with keeping Senator Barack Obama safe. His election night party in Chicago is turning out to be a security nightmare. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. Polls show Barack Obama is leading on the eve of Election Day, but after a bruising battle to win his party's nomination, Obama is warning his supporters against overconfidence. CNN's Jim Acosta takes a closer look at what's behind that warning. Jim?
Well, Barack Obama seems to be on the verge of victory, but he's had trouble landing the knockout punch before, which is why he's reminding voters John McCain is still standing. Barack Obama's message, it's closing time.
I need you to make the case. I need you to close the deal. Because the time for change has come, you know it, and we've got a righteous wind at our backs.
Obama's seen races tighten before. In the primaries, he built a commanding lead, only to stumble in the last nomination contest, prompting Hillary Clinton to ask then,
why can't he close the deal?
But even Clinton's most passionate supporters say it's different this time.
He's just a much better candidate today than he was in April. I have tried to panic, but I can't. Believe me, I've tried everything I can to not go to sleep at night, but it doesn't seem to work. I go to sleep.
Which may explain this sign of confidence. This Obama fundraising message offers donors a chance to win a ticket to history, choice seats at his election night celebration. That's presumptuous, say McCain campaign strategists, who see their own path to victory.
I would say the Southwest and Colorado are really moving into McCain columns. We are still very competitive and expect to win Florida, but I think the most important state to watch right now is Pennsylvania.
Both sides are laying it on the line. The GOP's new robocall features a dated speech from Senator Clinton.
In the White House, there is no time for speeches and on-the-job training.
Obama's new ad includes a rarely seen Dick Cheney.
I'm delighted to support John McCain, and I'm pleased that he's chosen a running mate with executive talent, toughness, and common sense.
These last-minute appeals aimed at undecided voters who could make the difference.
One thing we know about the undecided voters, they're almost all white. There are very few African Americans who are undecided. Well, overall, white voters tend to favor John McCain.
And no Democrat since Jimmy Carter has gotten more than 50.1% of the vote. And you have to go back all the way to 1964 to find the last Democratic presidential blowout. So Barack Obama is doing more than running against John McCain. He's running against history. Wolf.
All right, Jim Acosta reporting. All right, let's talk a little bit about these undecided voters. Who are they? Joining us now, two of the best political team on television. Paul Begala is our Democratic strategist.
That one.
That's you. Alex Castellanos is our Republican consultant. A lot of these undecideds, you know, they're so undecided they just don't even bother voting. Is that fair?
It is, but I do think with an African-American candidate, I think the Bradley effect's been overplayed, frankly, and I think there's much less of it than people think. But I do think there are some people, some few, parking themselves in undecided with the pollster when in truth they're actually going to vote for John McCain or against Barack Obama. And not that much of it, but I do think Bill Schneider's right in that piece Jim Acosta had. Democrats should not expect, usually the change candidate gets most of the undecideds in a change election, right? In a normal year, you'd see Barack Obama probably getting 3/4 of the undecided. I think this year, Obama's strategists are not counting on very much.
So you think that McCain will do better with the undecideds?
Yes, sir.
And do you agree?
I think so. Voters really vote who they are, not who the candidates are. And these voters are, you know, as I think Bill was saying, they're white, they are a little older. So I think we're going to see them probably break to McCain a little bit. But, you know, and also at this point, if you've looked at Barack Obama and you've wanted change for 4 years, or 8 years, and you haven't really pulled that lever for Obama yet, that means you have some doubts about him.
Paul, in the piece that Jim Acosta just had, you saw that statement from Dick Cheney endorsing John McCain, Sarah Palin, a quick ad by the Obama campaign taking advantage of that. Big deal, little deal, no deal, what's going on?
Well, it's a big deal because the Obama campaign was nimble enough to seize on it. You know, as a Democrat, I actually believe in the theory of evolution, and evolution is not actually survival of the strongest or the fittest, it's the most adaptable. Here, Barack Obama is being very adaptable, seizing on a mistake. And imagine the arrogance of Dick Cheney. Imagine, look, President Bush knows he's unpopular, and he's doing the only thing he can do. He's hiding, he's raising a little bit of money where he can, but otherwise he's hiding. He's being a loyal guy. Dick Cheney puts himself above everything. Most arrogant politician in the modern era. He knows that, that him popping up out of his hole in the ground hurts John McCain, but he has to do it anyway for his own ego.
Oh, I think this is going to put Republicans over the top. A lot of people didn't know that Bush and Cheney were supporting the Republican ticket this year. Look, this shows that it's really not just a local campaign for president anymore. You can't go to an event and say something. It's not only national, it's global. Barack Obama's run a global presidential campaign. He's campaigned in Europe. And whatever happens on TV, that's what happens in your living room. Candidates need to remember that. And this does hurt a little bit because it puts a period at the end of the argument that Obama's been making, which is, do you want 8 more years of this?
Let's talk a little bit about predictions of what's going to happen tomorrow. And both of you, quickly, let's go through the Electoral College. What do you think is going to be the outcome tomorrow? 270, the magic number, needed to be elected president.
Well, I got on, you know, of course, and not to plug our website, CNN.com, you can be John King, and I played John King for a day on the magic map. Minimum of 325 for Barack Obama. And I can see
plenty more than enough to win.
Plenty more, and I can see a way that he gets a 378. And I think it's a big win for Barack Obama.
What do you think?
I think, here's the way it looks. I won't make a prediction, but if you look at the map today, I've got 318 electoral votes for Barack Obama. He carries Pennsylvania. He does not carry Ohio. He carries Virginia. He does not carry North Carolina. He carries Colorado. He carries Iowa, New Mexico, Nevada, and Florida. I think goes, right now, it looks like it goes Obama. But that's the floor. If Republicans get a little dispirited right now, if Republicans stay in bed tomorrow, then I think Paul's right, it could be bigger.
Really, because Bill Bennett in the last hour, he predicted McCain would have a huge upset and go ahead and win. You're not necessarily, as a Republican, agreeing with him as a strategist.
No, but if Bill's right, then Bill can turn water into wine right after that.
One bad sign for the McCain campaign. The last day of the election, even Walter Mondale, who was in the process of losing 49 states, had 50,000 people at his closing rallies. John McCain this morning, Tampa, Florida, 1,000 people. And reporters on the scene said that it was set up for 10,000, and he had 1,000 people show up. That's pathetic.
And
That's
you
sad.
saw Ed Henry report, he was there, that 4 years ago at that last event in Tampa, George W. Bush had like 15,000 people at that
One
rally.
warning, there is the paper bag factor. and that is a lot of Republicans are voting this year with a paper bag over their head. It's not the most popular thing to do to say, hey, I'm going to go out and vote Republican. So there is some Republican vote out there that you just don't tell a pollster, and you don't you necessarily fly the flag out in public, but it might show up tomorrow. Let's see.
You know, I want to just report to our viewers a statement that John and Cindy McCain have just released because of the very sad death of the 86-year-old grandmother of Senator Barack Obama, Madeline Dunham. She just died today out in Hawaii. We offer our deepest condolences to Barack Obama and his family as they grieve the loss of their beloved grandmother. The statement from John and Cindy McCain says, our thoughts and prayers go out to them as they remember and celebrate the life of someone who had such a profound impact on their lives. It's a very tragic moment. You think about this, Paul, that just on the eve potentially of becoming president, he learns that his grandmother, who spent so much time raising him, whom he loved so much, has died.
Heartbreaking, and at least, thank God, he had the time to go out, say goodbye to her. He has spoken in the past of his regret that he didn't get a chance to say a final goodbye to his mother. But this is just, it's a heartbreaking thing, and I certainly salute the McCains, John and Cindy, for putting out such a thoughtful and sensitive statement. It does, though, remind you that he is entering into the most difficult job in the world, and there will be no time to take off and grieve for almost anything. I mean, I remember when Virginia Kelly, Bill Clinton's mom, when she passed away, the day after her funeral, he had to get on a plane and fly to Russia for a summit with Boris Yeltsin. You never stop at being president, and if the good Lord is on his side and the American people are on his side tomorrow, he's going to begin a very difficult journey, and at least his grandmother will have gotten him right to the end of that journey.
No time to rest. I was on that trip. I was the White House correspondent. Right. I flew off with him. I remember that sad moment as well. It's just profoundly tragic and sad, the timing of this. So we knew she's been sick for a while.
There's, you know, we often lose sight that these are real people. In the warfare of the campaign and the back and forth, they become distant from us. And sometimes an event like this, heartbreaking, and again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Remind us that these are real people who enter the public arena at great sacrifice just to help serve us and to serve their country on both sides. So we should remember them on a day like today.
And our deepest condolences to the entire family. Absolutely. All right, guys, thanks very much. Coming up, a scary scenario. What happens if the map ends up half red, half blue, a dead even count in the electoral vote? 269, 269, no one reaches 270. It could get messy. Plus, playing the campaign for laughs. We're going to hear from the first pretend candidate, Chevy Chase, on Saturday Night Live's Political Impact. Stay with us here in the Situation Room.
That's my brother Earl. He's been driving the same car for 20 years. What's worse, he's had the same car insurance for 20 years. I tell him, Earl, driving an old car is one thing, but having outdated insurance could be costing you a fortune.
Is that right?
Switch to the AARP insurance program from the Hartford. It's a program designed for people 50 plus.
If you're over 50, you might save $300 by switching to the AARP auto insurance program from the Hartford.
Really?
And with a good driving record, your deductible can disappear over time. Plus, your first accident could be forgiven.
Earl, no penalty for your first accident. Does your plan do that?
I didn't know anybody did that.
Not yet a member? Call now. We'll even send you a free calculator. Call 1-800-556-8277. 1-800-556-8277.
Chloe is 9 months old.
She is the greatest thing ever.
One little smile, one little laugh. Anybody? We would do anything for her. My name is Kim Bryant, and my husband and I made a will on LegalZoom.
It was really easy to do.
We created LegalZoom to help you take care of the ones you love. Go to LegalZoom.com today and complete your will in minutes. At LegalZoom.com, we put the law on your side.
Its official name is the Multi-Touch Collaboration Wall, but in John King's hands, the only thing to call it is magic. Go inside the results on election night like never before with the best political team, hands down.
D.L. Hughley's new show really breaks the news.
Endorse somebody, damn it.
I'm a comedian.
Liar.
Hey, man. D.L. Hughley breaks the news. CNN Saturday night, 10 East.
I'm Rick Dancer, and this is my wife, Kathy. In my 23 years as a journalist, one thing I've heard over and again from voters is why can't campaigns focus on issues, not negative attacks? That's why we're committed to a clean race that focuses on making the Secretary of State's office nonpartisan, supporting campaign finance reform, stopping the commingling of political funds, and ensuring that only legal citizens vote in Oregon. Throughout our travels in Oregon, this is what people have told us Oregon needs in a Secretary of State. I'm Rick Dancer, and I'm asking for your vote.
Attention Medicare recipients. Are your breathing troubles holding you back? Enjoy the freedom of a small compact nebulizer or Med4Home's competitively priced inhalers. To talk about your breathing solutions, call Med4Home at 1-800-297-9487. We'll deliver breathing medications, inhalers, and portable nebulizers right to your door.
Med4Home will even file the Medicare paperwork for you, so call now to speak to a pharmacy consultant. We're standing by to talk to you.
Special Election Day coverage on American Morning, 5 a.m. tomorrow.
A red state leaning blue on our electoral map. As the candidates battle for Virginia's votes, hundreds of thousands of absentee ballots are already in as a new controversy develops. Let's go to CNN's Dan Lothian. He's got our battleground coverage. Dan, the McCain campaign has gone ahead and filed a lawsuit. Give us the background. What's going on?
That's right. CNN has confirmed that the McCain campaign has filed a lawsuit against the State Board of Elections here in Virginia. They're asking the state to accept ballots, absentee ballots from military personnel overseas late. So if they're sent out by at least the 4th, that they should be counted if they arrive here by at least the 14th of November. Now, the guidelines here in the state say that absentee ballots have to be received here in Virginia by 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. I did reach out to the Board of Elections. The communications director tells me that they have not had a chance yet to review the lawsuit, so they can't comment. Meanwhile, state officials are gearing up for an unprecedented election.
To use a sports analogy, Virginia, a rookie battleground state, is putting up veteran numbers. 10% of its more than 5 million registered voters have already cast absentee ballots, some by mail, some in person. Almost 500,000 absentee ballots have been processed so far, compared to a total of about 200,000 4 years ago. It seems every voting record in the state is being shattered.
That is so exciting to know that we have so many more people participating in the process.
And this early jump will help to relieve some of the pressure on precincts as officials brace for a 90% voter turnout.
Obviously, that's going to have a major effect.
On the ground, both campaigns are sprinting the last few miles of this presidential marathon. The Obama campaign says 15,000 volunteers are contacting hundreds of thousands of voters across Virginia from now until the polls close.
Obviously, the campaign has invested heavily in Virginia, and there's a lot at stake here.
At McCain headquarters in Richmond, volunteers work the phones. The campaign says they're making tens of thousands of calls and knocking on thousands of doors in these final hours. They say their Get Out the Vote effort includes a force of 20,000 volunteers statewide.
We can't lose Virginia. John McCain said in Bristol this morning, he said, if I'm going to win the presidency, I need you all to win Virginia.
Now, Barack Obama is still leading in the polls here in Virginia. You might remember, Wolf, that just a couple of weeks ago he was up by 10 points. That lead has now been cut in half. He's up by 5 points, 5% still unsure. Wolf?
All right, what's the latest, Dan, on that NAACP lawsuit that was filed last week against the governor of Virginia?
That's right. Well, the NAACP was in court in the courthouse behind me, and the judge ruled that their lawsuit did have merits, but he denied their request to have additional machines put out there in some of these precincts. He also denied their request to have the voting hours extended for a couple of hours. The NAACP saying that they will watch how things go tomorrow. They might end up back in court still.
All right, we'll see. Dan Lothian reporting from Richmond, Virginia. The Obama camp is hoping it will be a victory party, but the massive open-air celebration planned for tomorrow night in Chicago is shaping up to potentially be a security nightmare. CNN's Susan Rosejan is there. Susan?
Wolf, Obama's party is going to be here in downtown Chicago in Grant Park. More than 300 acres of open space, now completely closed off.
Excuse me, sir, if you don't have a pass, you have to cross to that side of the street.
Mayor Daley says he hopes 1 million people will come to cheer Obama on, but Beverly Petzold won't be one of them.
There's too many nuts around here.
The nuts are exactly what Chicago police and the Secret Service are trying to keep out. And there are security issues here that a Ramada ballroom wouldn't have. Grant Park is lined by skyscrapers full of people. Residents will have to show IDs just to get near their apartments and condos. Lake Michigan is on the other side of the park. Chicago police will have special Marine units in the water, patrolling along with the Coast Guard.
I'm extraordinarily confident that we can keep Senator Obama safe, that we can keep the citizens of Chicago safe, and that we can keep the neighborhood safe.
The chief says every single police officer in the city will be on duty. They'll be the ones in uniform. The Secret Service guys won't be so easy to spot.
We have never discussed our methods and scope, basically, of our security plan. We have a very, very good security plan in place.
In fact, for anyone but media, this may be the only peek you'll get at the center of the action. The T-shaped platform is where Senator Obama will make his speech.
The city of Chicago is honored that presidential hopeful Barack Obama has chosen his hometown as the place to spend election night.
And there is another reason everyone here wants election night to go smoothly, Wolf, and that's that Chicago is in the running to host the 2016 Olympics, and we know the whole world will be watching. Wolf?
Susan Rosen's in Chicago getting ready for that party tomorrow night. So what if it's a tie, though? An electoral stalemate could be a rather scary scenario. The U.S. Constitution tells us how to resolve it. That doesn't mean it would be easy. Bill Schneider standing by. Plus, John McCain took time in the waning days of the campaign to laugh it up on Saturday Night Live. We're going to go behind the scenes to find out why that may be a good move.
Are you someone who likes fine jewelry and also respects a politician who can reach across the aisle? If so, you can't go wrong with McCain Fine Gold.
One word turns science fiction into science fact. One word turns dreams into knowledge, ideas into achievements, exploration into discovery. One word makes the difference between observation and understanding. How is the word that makes all the difference.
I don't know a soul who's not been battered. I don't have a friend who feels at ease. I don't know a dream that's not been shattered or driven to its knees. Oh, but it's alright, it's alright, for we lived so well so long. Still, when I think of the road we're traveling on, I wonder what's gone wrong. I can't help it, I wonder what's gone wrong.
Progressive Future is responsible for the content of this advertising.
We reinvented the debate. We revolutionized primary coverage and set new TV ratings records. Now, we'll change the game again. Election night in America. CNN tomorrow night.
I'm State Representative Scott Bruen. Like you, I'm concerned about jobs, the economy, and the ridiculous cost of health care. As you've seen, my opponent and her supporters are fixated on negative ads. Their solution? Tear down my name and distract us from the real issues. This year, you have a clear choice. A bipartisan record of leadership for schools, healthcare, and jobs, or silly attack ads and no vision for Oregon. I'm Scott Bruen, and I ask for your vote. Together, we can bring people together and move Oregon forward.
Gears of War 2 presents UFC 91, Couture vs. Lesnar. Live Saturday, November 15th from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on Events in Demand pay-per-view.
Cindy McCain on Larry King Live. CNN tonight, 9 Eastern.
Perhaps more than ever this election year, the road to the White House passes through the set of Saturday Night Live, where presidential satire dates back to the Ford administration. CNN's Alina Cho talks to the man who set the standard. Alina?
Hey, Wolf, you know, it's hard to say who the bigger star is in this election, SNL or you, Wolf Blitzer. I recently sat down with Chevy Chase, the first person on SNL to do a presidential parody, the first person to say live from New York at Saturday night. So I asked him what he thought of you, what he thought of Tina Fey as Sarah Palin, and SNL's impact on politics.
Good evening, my fellow Americans.
John McCain, trailing in the polls and the race for money.
We, however, can only afford QVC.
These campaigns sure are expensive.
They sure are.
So the real McCain and the fake Palin are hawking housewares.
And who wouldn't want the complete set of limited edition Joe action figures? There's Joe the Plumber, Joe Sixpack, and my personal favorite, Joe Biden.
Tina Fey as Sarah Palin is pure ambition.
Okay, listen up, everybody. I'm going rogue right now, so keep your voices down. Available now. We got a bunch of these.
Tina, who's not an impressionist per se, just happened to fit right in there.
Chevy Chase is speaking from experience. Some believe his portrayal of Gerald Ford as a bumbling buffoon cost Ford the election in 1976.
They wanted Carter in, and I wanted him out, and I figured, look, we're reaching millions of people.
Wait a minute, you mean to tell me that in the back of your mind you were thinking, hey, I want Carter,
Oh,
this
yeah.
guy, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
going to make him look bad.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
What do you think they're doing now? I mean, do you think they were just doing this because Sarah's funny?
Saturday Night Live denies any bias.
We're not partisan. We're, and we're not putting on anything that we don't believe is funny.
And it is funny. Here's McCain talking about a last-minute change in strategy.
It's called The Sad Grandpa. That's where I get on TV and go, come on, Obama's going to have plenty of chances to be president. It's my turn.
Joking aside, this election season, Chase isn't just watching SNL.
I've never seen so much Wolf Blitzer in my life.
He's also glued to CNN.
Is Wolf really alive? How can he live and not get sick?
And on this election eve, SNL will take one last shot at the candidates in a 2-hour special. It airs tonight. We've learned that Sarah Palin will be part of the show again, but this time, Wolf, it's not live. She actually taped something earlier for the show. And in case you're wondering, Saturday's show that featured John McCain was the most highly rated SNL in nearly 11 years. The only show this season that had more viewers, the one where McCain's running mate, Sarah Palin, was a live special guest. And you heard Chevy Chase talking about the impact of SNL via the internet. Well, listen to this. The New York Times is reporting that Tina Fey's impersonation of Sarah Palin has been viewed online 50 million times. Wolf?
All right, Alina, thanks very much. Alina Cho reporting. Glad Chevy Chase is watching CNN.
Well, he's got nothing else to do, the career kind of went. The question this hour, how long are you willing to wait in line in order to cast your vote? Michelle in New Hampshire writes, I'm prepared, willing to wait all day. I've cleared my calendar to make sure I can spend all day. The time I don't spend waiting or voting, I will spend poll watching and holding signs. It's far too important not to make a personal sacrifice to make sure my vote counts. As an Army wife, one day of work loss is meaningless compared to the days my husband has and will spend on deployment. To all within the sound of your voice, get out and vote. La Shunda, Mobile, Alabama. I'm 7 months pregnant. Standing for long periods of time hurts my back tremendously. In spite of the pain, I plan to stand in line as long as it takes to exercise my right to vote, especially when those before me endured even greater hardships to have this right. Bill in San Diego, I appreciate the question, but if anybody honestly thinks the wait is not worth it, even if it's all day, think about all of the people in places who can't vote. Think about the people who have fought for voting rights. And remember that blacks and women were not allowed to vote not that long ago. Patrick says not longer than about 30 hours. Dawn in Florida, my husband and I waited 2.5 hours in Miami to vote early. About an hour into the wait, my husband began getting antsy and wanted me to remind him why we were wasting our time. I just looked at him and said, George W. Bush. That did it. And Kim writes, all day if I have to, but I'll have my 3- and 4-year-olds with me. They may think differently. What a great opportunity to live by example. Never give up. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog, cnn.com/Cafferty file. Look for yours there, among hundreds of others. Wolf.
It's inspiring seeing these people wait in line for as long as they are. It's really good. All right, Jack, thank you. The analysts say it could happen, an electoral tie. What happens if it's 269 to 269? You're going to find out next. Also, the heavy hitters of the campaign trail showing just how important Pennsylvania is. Two popular governors, each trying to win votes for their candidate. We talked to Tom Ridge and Ed Rendell. That's coming up right here in the Situation Room.
Closed captioning hours provided by Eggland's Best Eggs. Better taste, better nutrition.
In my busy kitchen, I want nothing but the best. Eggland's Best.
I love Eggland's Best because of all the great nutrition. That's why they're the only eggs I make for my son, the chef.
Eggland's Best, the better egg.
Here at the phone company, you've been our customer for a long time. Now Vonage wants to change all that.
Well, over 2 million people have already joined Vonage.
Oh, really? Don't they miss having phone service?
Actually, with Vonage, you get award-winning service quality with unlimited local and long-distance calls, all for just $24.99 a month. Are you having trouble keeping track of what your phone company is charging? With Vonage, your rate starts low and stays low. Don't take my word for it. Listen to his former customers.
For me, Vonage is everything I want in a phone service.
It's dependable. It's perfect.
No nickels and dimes like the phone company.
Make the most from your existing high-speed internet connection. Get unlimited local and long-distance calling for only $24.99 a month, plus 25 features for no extra charge. Sign up now and get 1 month free.
Okay, but making a change is hard, and for over 100 years, the only thing we've changed is...
Your prices?
Whoa!
Call 1-877-4Vonage or go online to Vonage.com.
Is it possible that a single sedan could contain 6 airbags, a Shiftronic 5-speed transmission, and XM radio? Well, it is if the sedan also came with a lot of space. Introducing the newly redesigned 2009 Hyundai Sonata, the most interior room in its class.
Get 0% financing for up to 36 months and $1,000 bonus cash on a 2009 Sonata.
Tell me something. Why does my company have so many printers? Every time I turn around, there's another one wasting electricity, waiting for a print job, not to mention the stockpile of supplies. Give me one machine with outstanding productivity and functionality. With an LCD panel from Sharp that lets me preview scanned documents, plus an inner finisher that doesn't waste space. While you're at it, how about a sleek design? The Frontier series from Sharp. Work without limits.
Coverage of America Votes 2008 is sponsored by the new Hyundai Genesis. It all starts with this. And by the Sharp Frontier series with OSA-enabled technology. Work without limits. Visit the Election Center at cnn.com/election for in-depth information on the candidates.
In our political ticker, what if tomorrow's vote leads to a nationwide deadlock? It's possible. Let's go to Bill Schneider. He's looking at this story for us. A tie. What if it happened, Bill?
The Constitution specifies exactly what to do in that case. Article 1, take a deep breath. Halloween may be over, but another scary scenario could be lurking. The electoral vote could end up tied. 269 for McCain, 269 for Obama. Suppose Barack Obama carries all the states John Kerry carried in 2004, plus Iowa, New Mexico, and Nevada. Result? A tie. Suppose Obama takes all the Kerry states except New Hampshire, plus 3 former Bush states, Iowa, New Mexico, and Colorado. Result? A tie. Crisis? Not necessarily. The Constitution spells out what to do. The new Congress counts the electoral votes in January, just like in 2001.
I stand for the purpose of objecting to the counting of the vote from the state of Florida as read.
Result? A tie. Then what? Then the newly elected House of Representatives chooses the new president. Each state gets 1 vote. 53 California representatives get 1 vote. The single representative from Alaska gets 1 vote. In the current House, Democrats hold the majority in 27 states, Republicans in 21, with 2 states tied. So it looks good for Obama, assuming Democrats hold or increase their House majority. Some representatives will be under pressure to ignore their party and vote the way their state voted.
In Delaware, Mike Castle, the longtime Republican congressman, his state is almost certainly going to vote for the Obama-Biden ticket. Is he really going to risk the wrath of his constituents by voting for John McCain if the election goes to the House of Representatives?
Has the election ever gone to the House before? Yes, and it wasn't pretty.
In 1824, and ultimately, critics of the election charged that there was a corrupt bargain reached in the House, whereby the Speaker of the House, Henry Clay, threw his support behind John Quincy Adams, and after Adams entered office, he appointed Clay as Secretary of State.
A corrupt bargain to elect a president. Pretty scary. What if a state House delegation is tied? The state can abstain. It takes 26 states to elect a new president. So if a lot of states abstain, the House has to keep on voting. And if the House can't pick a new president by January 20th, when George W. Bush's term expires, then the new vice president becomes acting president. Oh, wait a minute. Who picks the new vice president? The new Senate, with each senator casting one vote. If the Democrats increase their majority in the Senate, Wolf, meet President Joe Biden.
Or interim President Joe Biden until the House can make up its mind. All right, Bill, thanks very much. To our viewers, you're in the Situation Room happening now. Barack Obama's powerful personal loss on the eve of what could be a historic triumph. This hour, though, the breaking news of his grandmother's death. We're standing by to hear from Senator Obama live this hour. Also, John McCain's urgent plea. He's scrambling for votes and covering lots of ground on this election eve. We're going to take you inside the Republicans' best hopes and worst fears, and in the trenches, in the battlegrounds, the mad dash to get out the vote, and the long wait once Americans show up at the polls. The best political team on television is standing by. We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer at the CNN Election Center. You're in the Situation Room. By all accounts, Barack Obama would not be where he is today without the strength and love and influence of his grandmother. And now, if he wins the highest office in the land tomorrow, it will be without her. Just a short while ago, the Obama campaign confirmed that Madeline Dunham died peacefully last night in Hawaii after a long battle with cancer. She was 86 years old. Senator Obama recently took some time out from campaigning to fly to Hawaii to see her. I asked him about that emotional visit during our one-on-one interview last Friday. You know, all of us were moved last weekend when you went to see your grandmother in Hawaii. I know she watches CNN because she says she watches CNN. And she might be watching right now. And I know how proud she must be that you've reached this level and on the verge, potentially, of becoming President of the United States. How emotional is this for you and for her at this moment?
Well, you know, look, she's my grandma, and she helped raise me, and she put off a lot of things in her own life to make sure that myself and my sister, that we were taken care of. So a big chunk of whatever success I've achieved is because of her.
John and Cindy McCain released a statement just a few moments ago offering their deepest condolences to the entire Obama family as they grieve the loss of their beloved grandmother. We're standing by to hear from Senator Obama at a rally in North Carolina this hour. He's been out there pushing a very busy campaign schedule, even after learning of his grandmother's death this morning. Our Suzanne Balvo has more on Senator Obama's grandmother and what she meant to the man who could be the next president.
Thank you to my grandmother, who helped raise me and is sitting in Hawaii somewhere right now because she can't travel, but who poured everything she had into me, and who helped to make me the man I am today. Tonight is for her.
As a child, Obama was abandoned by his father and for long stretches separated from his mother, who pursued studies in Indonesia. So Obama's white grandparents largely raised him as a teen in Honolulu. Obama told me they instilled the values in him he needed to embrace his identity as a biracial child.
They were fundamentally American values, and that I could feel comfortable in my own identity, in my own skin, embracing that side of my family while also embracing the fact of my race.
Obama's sister Maya told me Madeline Dunham didn't care to be called grandmother, so they called her Toot, short for Tutu, the Hawaiian word for grandma. Toot hasn't been able to travel on the campaign trail because of her osteoporosis, but Maya says she follows it closely on cable TV.
Our grandmother lives in the same apartment that she's been renting for nearly 40 years, 950 square feet. That is our family estate. When he becomes president, I hope they put a little, historical plaque up there.
Obama calls her a trailblazer, a no-nonsense kind of woman who broke barriers.
She rose to be the head of the escrow division of the Bank of Hawaii, which was quite a feat.
We're among friends here. We're family.
And our deepest condolences to the entire Obama family on the loss of Senator Obama's grandmother. A little less than 24 hours from now, the first polling places will close and the election night drama will begin. Today, the White House hopefuls are on a frantic race to win last-minute votes. John McCain is dashing across 7 states, beginning in crucial Florida and including Pennsylvania, now considered a must-win for Senator McCain. He ends the day in his home state of Arizona. Sarah Palin swings through Ohio and 4 other states. She closes with 2 stops in Nevada, a red state where Barack Obama has the advantage in the polls right now. Obama has a less intense schedule with stops in Florida, North Carolina, and finally Virginia. That's a red state he's hoping to turn blue. He'll wind up home in Chicago. Joe Biden zips through 3 battleground states, Missouri, Ohio, and Pennsylvania. Let's bring in our senior political correspondent, Candy Crowley. She's in Charlotte right now. It's a painful day for Senator Obama with the loss of his grandmother. How's he handling it?
Well, he and his sister put out a joint statement praising their grandmother for her role in their life and the life of their grandchildren, of course, Barack Obama's 2 young daughters. So it was very low-key. In fact, that's the first we knew that, in fact, his grandmother had died when they put out this joint written statement. He was told about his grandmother's passing early this morning, about 4 or 5 Eastern time. He was in Florida at the time. He was told at about 8 in the morning. But since then, Wolf, he has had a rally, and he has gone here to visit headquarters, and he has not mentioned his grandmother's death. There is no outward sign as he campaigns now in Charlotte, North Carolina, and earlier in Florida, no outward sign of his loss.
I have just one word for you, Florida. Tomorrow.
No accident. Barack Obama came to Veterans Memorial Arena in Jacksonville as part of his finale. John McCain was here in September, and there was a pivotal moment that marked the beginning of Obama's pull away.
He said, and I quote, "The fundamentals of our economy are strong."
The candidate who launched his presidential bid on opposition to the war closes out on the economy. As foreclosures rose and Wall Street imploded, Obama's lead over McCain on who could best handle the economy rose to almost 20 points. Still, the fundamental premise, the gale force winds that pushed him forward, is a single word in ads, speeches, placards: change, and the hope it brings.
It's what led those who could not vote to say, if I march, if I organize, maybe my child or grandchild can run for president someday.
Obama's ambitious political hopes are in stark relief in his final flights. Florida. Democrats have coveted a clean win here since the controversial 2000 race. North Carolina and Virginia. Democrats hope the 2 will serve as gateways to the once solid Republican South. And on Election Day, a quick hop to scarlet-red Indiana. A tie now, but a win would be the coup de grace for a campaign longing to change the electoral map. The Obama campaign has always dreamed big, politically, historically, rhetorically, seeking from the start to be less of a campaign, more of a movement.
If you'll stand with me and fight with me, I promise you, we will not just win Florida, we'll win this election. You and I together will change this country, will change the world.
Obama told a radio network he feels pretty peaceful. He is also plenty tired.
The Republicans are spending a lot of money on ads here in Ohio.
He was in Florida. 22 months is a long time. As we all know, Barack Obama may or may not be on the edge of history here. It surely must be a bittersweet moment for him, dealing with both the death of his grandmother and yet these crowds that he continues to draw. I have to tell you, Wolf, there are a lot of people here as far as the eye can see, and it has been pouring reign. So quite a difference in emotions between what's going on privately and what's happening here publicly.
Quite a difference indeed. Art Candy, thank you. Let's get to John McCain right now and his grueling marathon in the closing hours of this campaign. Our Dana Bash reports from Arizona, McCain's last stop tonight.
In his frantic final push, John McCain is closing not so much with an argument, but an urgent plea.
We need to win Virginia on November 4th, and we've got to take this country in a new direction, and we will win. Volunteer, knock on doors, get your neighbors to the polls. We need to win in Pennsylvania tomorrow. With your help, we will win. With this kind of enthusiasm, this kind of intensity, we will win Florida and we will win this race.
The mantra inside Camp McCain is that polls are tightening, but privately McCain advisors admit winning would be nothing short of a miracle. The itinerary for McCain's 7-state sprint says it all. Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Indiana, New Mexico, Nevada, and Arizona. All but one are red states he's trying to keep Obama from winning. A game of defense, big time.
We need to bring real change to Washington, and we have to fight for it.
At McCain's first stop in Florida's critical I-4